Streaming live on Facebook for the first time today. All right. So streaming live on Facebook, we've got a couple of glitches, so I'll just be careful not to talk when the wheels are spinning on the computer. So life is good, and we are truly blessed. This is Surfing Vuzuvaya. And what is Surfing Vuzuvaya? Vuzuvaya is literally the waves of reality as they emanate from the Hunapku, from the central sun of our universe, and as they emanate from all of us as holograms of that central sun, of that original light. As that we are all co-creators of this reality. So surfing the waves of reality, we gotta stand on solid ground. What are we standing on? What are we waxing our board with today? And today we are waxing our board with no fucks at all. No fucks to be given. My friends, it is, I think like a lot of us, I have been through very intense cycles of personal awareness and healing and transition and clearing and letting go of old things and forgiveness. And there's so many cycles, and it's a little bit exhausting. There's a lot getting more and more intense, as there's another huge wave of solar flares coming at us that we're experiencing right now. And that's probably some of the joy of this internet connection, to be honest. So as the sun emits solar flares, each and every one of these beams of light is encoded with information. We know this because it's science. And we know that it's encoded with information, that each one has its own information that's encoded. So another way of looking at solar flares is they are a massive release of information. And so, like the Hopi say, like the Jewish tradition has, like a lot of different cultures and traditions have, keeping the top of your head open, right? Being in the place, this is the place, the part of you that receives light. That let the light in, and let the natural intelligence of your body interpret and process the information that light is giving you. Once again, we are sunlight origami, meaning we are literally folded sunlight. The plants gather the sunlight, they make it into chlorophyll, then many we as well gather sunlight. We process sunlight and make nutrition from sunlight. And that it is what we are all folded of. That we are many layers of complex folded sunlight origami. That is essentially what we all are. And so the sun is not trying to kill us. The sun is trying to nurture us and inform us and educate us. And we are sunlight. So really embracing and fearlessly embracing and fearlessly engaging. Now, it's one of those things, you don't have to stare into the sun. We know that that's actually a bad idea. Solar gazing proponents might speak differently, but even then, there's only very small windows of time that you stare directly into the sun. The information that it is giving us is innate within us. And so stay clear, stay healthy, and don't take it personally. A lot of these cycles, a lot of these waves and these emotional roller coasters are very emotional. But this is the thing, again, don't take it personally. It's honestly not about you. There is a much bigger story on this planet. And so yes, in some ways, it really is about us. But if you're wondering yourself and you're like, wow, the stuff that's coming up, for me personally, I know there's some very old stuff, some stuff that I don't relate to in what I'm feeling and experiencing anymore. What I'm realizing, it's echoes of old things coming up for acknowledgement, coming up for release, and also the realization that there's a whole planet of resonance, that there's all these different pains and all these different traumas, and that so much of it comes down to slavery. So the discussion that I've heard in different mythologies, in different New Age circles, as well as different ancient cultural mythologies, being that one of the discussions has said that for the Kali Yuga, this planet, we did not go elsewhere. We did not incarnate elsewhere. We were only in the cycle of reincarnation on this planet, and that the reason why this was so was exactly because of slavery. That it was by enslaving beings, not just humans, but enslaving other beings, that we were sort of quarantined for our bad behavior, as in looking at slavery as a sickness that we cannot allow to spread, right? And so, I'm just going to check in here. All right, looking at slavery as a sickness that cannot be allowed to spread. And so, and once again, interestingly enough, we know that there is very open human trafficking and human slavery. Now, not just sexual trafficking, but slavery for labor. When we look even at the United States, I saw an interview where the head of a penitentiary in the southern United States there was a man who had been in jail for like 15 years for almost nothing, for like stealing $30 worth of stuff. Or stealing a car or something, like something ridiculous, not 15 years. And he actually, the warden actually admitted that he had done everything he could to keep the man in the jail, even though his time was up. He'd actually extended his stay beyond the length of his sentence because he was just such a good worker, they couldn't let him go. And this is and then you have, a number of other, judges and organizations from schools, people funneling people into the penitentiary system for the purpose of slave labor, for huge corporate contracts that they have and that they have to fulfill. And so they have to have people in jail to do that labor, to do that. And so there's been a number of people that have been convicted of this in the last few years. And the understanding that slavery is not acceptable on any level. Now, on a personal level, how have you enslaved yourself? Right? How have you signed up to the programs and the beliefs that keep you in captivity, that do not allow you to recognize your own sovereignty or the sovereignty of others? And when we come down to these things, there are universal contracts. There are universal contracts. You are a sovereign being, and there are things that just cannot be done. You cannot buy or sell your soul. No one can trick you into signing over your personal freedom. They can trick you. They can make you believe that you signed it over. They can make you believe that you're a slave on an energetic level. And I'm not talking about things like the jail system and the actual human trafficking and the actual open slavery that is happening again in Northern Africa. I say Northern Africa, but we know that slavery is happening in a lot of other places. I knew, when I was in grade school, I knew a Filipino family that had moved to Canada with their slave. And she slept on the floor of the kitchen. And, yeah. So this is not something that is limited to the trafficking of just the sexual trafficking of women and children. This is not something that is limited to just the trafficking of black people, of Africans. This is something that is happening on a global level, and goodness knows that we really are aware of the fact that in Canada and the US right now, at least, we work more than medieval than people did in medieval times. We work longer and harder than people did to survive in medieval times, which is really something else. So we are wage slaves, but it's 40% of Canadians are one paycheck away, 2 paychecks away from being homeless. So this concept of slavery has gone across the board. Where are we in our lives and our belief systems participating in this? And how do we end this cycle? Because there's a lot going on. There's a planetary awareness. It's the end of the Kali Yuga. Woo woo! Woo! I really have to learn what the new Yuga is called. So I can stop talking about the end and start talking about the beginning. That's a good goal for me this week. But I want to talk about not taking it personally, and hence the reasons to have no fucks to give. I've been going through this emotional roller coaster, the willingness to let go of the past, hearing the echoes of old situations and old hurts, right? Things we have healed and forgiven and let go, and realizing that it's because it's really not personal. And I will continue to face these issues, and I will continue to let go to whatever depth is required of me. And I'd like you to join me in that. I'd like you to join me in that commitment and just consider the possibility that you can that anytime old issues come up, you can keep forgiving them and keep letting them go in new ways, in a deeper way. You don't have to know where you're holding on. You don't have to analyze it. It doesn't need a lot of time or discussion. These are all old issues we have all been cycling through for this lifetime, for years, for generations, for thousands of years as a species, for how many incarnations. And so facing it and just the willingness, just being willing, facing what is going on, facing the wave of information, facing the wave of healing, and just engaging it and saying, I am willing. I will try. I want to see what comes next. I believe in us. I believe in me. And I'm willing to heal and release and forgive and learn from this issue as deeply and as wholly as I need to. So we have that in one hand, right? Because we're going to be always with the balance and the paradox here. So in one hand, we have the awareness, the forgiveness, and the release of past challenges. And then in the other hand, we have the conscious choice of direction of our intention. So we can let the old echoes of the past go into this place of forgiveness and healing and resolution. And we can embrace the new potentials. Like, what do we know? What do we know? How are we doing this? Like, you are an infinite being. You literally have the entire design of the entirety of the universe and time, space, and all the knowledge of everything in yourself, in the Akasha that you are also a part of and co-creating this lifetime, right? And you literally have all the answers within you. And that is actual. It's not a metaphor. It is a literal actuality. So how do we do that? We choose. We choose. Every day and every moment. As we face the old and we go, old, I don't understand you. I don't necessarily know what to do, but I forgive you and I release you. And I'm here for this. I'm willing. I'm facing into this. And I'm going to allow this to transform me. I'm going to transform with this and transform the world as an extension of my own transformation. Today was not an easy day to get online. I just wanted to eat pasta and take naps all day. It's a pasta day. Pasta is very good for taking naps, I found. Lots of vegetables with the pasta, but lots of naps too. And it's part of the facing in. So what does it is? That is part of what it took for me today. That is part of what it took, because in dream time, rest is extraordinarily important. And what's funny is I'm not a person who usually sleeps a whole lot. I don't sleep for very long periods at a time usually. And this last week, 2 weeks, boy, have I been sleeping a lot. I think just my subconscious needs the space. My conscious mind needs the rest time so that I can process at a much deeper level and understand again, like, you have all these parts. You really are an infinite being. You really are a creator. And let's just take a moment now. Let's just take a moment and take the practice. I choose my infinity. So choose with me. I choose the expression of my infinite self. I choose the engagement of universal love, of universal law. I believe in freedom at a level I cannot yet conceive of, but I feel it. I know it to be true. And I'm willing and able to be part of creating this freedom, healing this wound of this planet, opening this quarantine, opening the heart of the planet again. As my own heart, as my own self has been healed from all the different experiences that I've had, as I am willing to engage and I sit with my heart and I sit with my vulnerability and I sit with my feelings, happy, sad, all of the above, so as a planet, that is also what we're doing. Because of this games of slavery and enslaving, games of domination and power over each other, and we waste so much energy and competition in doing this. You know, we have a lot to do right now. What we don't need is to destroy each other. What we don't need is to argue over who has the best method. If we want to, if we want to play those games, we should play games. That's what sports are for. That's what card games with friends are for. That's what healthy competition is for. There are a lot of ways we can express the dynamics of some of the games that we've been playing on a social level in a confined, healthy space. Whereas in a social space, these games of dominance and hierarchy cost us everything. These games of competition and hierarchy, instead of making beautiful quality things that people need for tools to live and work and create, we make a whole bunch of super crappy tools that are in competition with each other. This is the new tool today. This is the new color of tool this season. And we're drowning in our own shit from the waste of needing to be better, of needing to have to assert dominance, and instead of acknowledging and encompassing the needs of all, the needs of others, in consideration with the resources that we have, instead we're just throwing a bunch of crap in the world and we're drowning in it. All right, now I realize that there. But this is the place we have to start from. This is the reality of the truth. That we have surrounded ourselves with a lot of our own crap. Now, interestingly enough, I had a theory in grade 8. I was studying landfills at the time, and the design of landfills in Canada is made so that the landfill barriers will never be ruptured and they will contain the garbage forever. That's not how life on the planet works. Everything gets everything breaks. The way it works. Everything is part of everything else. Everything feeds everything else. Everything is eaten. Everything eats. Everything is born. Everything dies. Everything is continuous in on this cycle of life on this planet. One thing about all of the garbage that we have is there's a lot of wonderful resources in it. Isn't that interesting? So let's look at as these moments, because this processing that we're all doing, these intense emotional moments, these remembering of old situations, these awarenesses of situations on this planet that we cannot tolerate and should not tolerate on any level. Injustice is never acceptable. There is no rationale. There is nothing that is worth the injustice and war and pain and hardship that of the lack of sharing of resources that we are experiencing. There is nothing that justifies residential schools. There's nothing that justifies colonialism. There's nothing that justifies racism and the violence and bigotry that stem as a result of it. There's nothing that justifies people having billions of dollars while 40% of the Canadian population that are 2 paychecks away from being homeless. There's literally nothing that justifies that. And again, that is on this hand, right? And in this hand is the understanding, again, that in our infinite brilliance, all the tools that we need to create the world that we have the potential to see. Once again, let's talk about Bucky's balls, because I don't know who has the biggest balls, but I know who has the smallest, and Bucky wins. So always Team Bucky, all day, every day, right? Because we really do have the resources. We really do have the tools. We might need to reorganize some things. We need to reorganize our focus. And we need to have faith in each other. And what does that mean for you? What does that mean for you this week? Well, Jupiter and Mercury both went direct. Thank freaking goodness, or are in the process of going direct right now. Thank heavens. And I know some people look at astrology and are like, how do I relate to this, right? Cells in the body of the planet. I wonder if the cells in the liver are going, I don't really believe the brain has much influence. I mean, I see what the heart does. The blood passes by through the river of blood. We get nutrition from it. You know, it's distributed. I see that connection, but I don't really see this whole brain thing. I don't see how we're all connected. It's an illusion. You know, the liver goes, I don't really see how the cycle of the experience of the pancreas affects me. You know, in the liver's galaxy of our body, right? And so, but as cells in the body of the planet, we know that, you know, the fullness, as the moon is getting fuller, I can go out to the ocean here and I can see the effect of the moon on the tides. I can actually watch the moon come up off the horizon and pulling its giant gravity, pulling the ocean to it. And I am 80% water. And I feel that pull. You know. And plant chemistry and animal pheromones and chemistry, we all change in our cycles with the moon. We have in our brains, I know a lot of people are aware that we have, you know, the sun is very important for regulating our internal clock. We also have another organ that we have other part of our biochemistry that is regulated by the moon. Ta-da! Again, we are physically part of all of these things. So we know that, you know, our brains and our emotions we are in communication with plants. We call them plant sterinols. They're the same exact pheromones and hormones as ours, and they're always in communication. This keeps coming up, so I'm going to say this again. I love this truth. When you have a garden, when you talk to your plants, when you grow any plant, whether it's a basil plant on your kitchen counter, or you have a garden, when you grow those plants and you talk to them, the pheromones from your breath, The plants can actually tell what nutrition you need and will produce nutrition for your body from the intelligence of the communication of your pheromones, your smells, your breath. The plants are breathing, literally breathing those in and taking those into account, and they are adapting to nurture you, to bring out the best in you. The plants around you are conspiring for your health and well-being. That's incredible. It's so funny because we have this mythos of evolution. Competition is a very, very, very small role in evolution, and nature is very generous. Nature is very generous. There are lots of animals that will nurse the babies of other animals, including us bears, the Diné people, when they live in the deserts in the southwest of the United States, or what is now the United States. When one of their children wanders off, they look for their children in the bear dens, because human children and bear babies have very similar needs. And so bears have been known to care for and nurse human children, so they could be, and many children found safe and returned. And the Diné people were able to bring their children home because they were cared for by the bears that found them. The internet is full of wonderful examples of, cat and dog parents taking in other species and raising them, nursing them and raising them to well-being. We take such incredible care of each other, and everything is right here around us. And when we're not so busy trying to eradicate and wipe out all the natural world around us, it is incredibly patient and conscious and giving. Now, I also did, learn to use a shotgun because wolves would try and at 4 years old, because wolves would try and come for the farm animals in a really bad winter in Alberta, in the farm. That's a very real thing. Where we are so concerned about, and this is so much of the crux exactly of what is going on right now. When we are so concerned about our survival, we can behave in very desperate ways. And here we are at a huge crossroads of the importance of our own survival, as our own evolution as a species. As our evolution as a species into evolving into the understanding that we are a part of a planet. We are part of a much larger, cohesive, intelligent system, full of intelligent beings on every level and in every way. And we cannot be reduced to our lowest drives for survival. With this time, survival is not it's not survival of the fittest, that's a much longer discussion. And if we're gonna have that really long discussion over a lot of the misunderstandings of evolution and competition and dogs. Have you ever actually seen a fucking dog eat another fucking dog? I'm just wondering, who here has seen a dog eat a dog? I've met I don't know how many tens of thousands of dogs in my life. I have never seen a dog eat another dog. All right, so where do these phrases get? It's not a dog-eat-dog world. It's a humans tell stories about dogs eating dogs world to justify their own lower impulses and not rising to the occasion. So in this moment, at this point in time, with these solar waves of information, with all of these gifts, with all of this new potential on the planet, and with this very urgent awareness that we have to evolve, that we have to move on. Let us not be reduced to our lowest, let us embrace instead. Let us rise together. Let us embrace. Now it's interesting because in Hopi Prophecy Rock, what is considered the high road is the endless productivity, the endless greed, the endless consumption, is the one that falls away. Whereas the road that's steady is the one that just rounds the corner of transformation and keeps going. So let's not think in terms of hierarchy. And let's not think in terms of above or below. Let's find new ways. Let's find new ways of really embracing the best of us. Let's choose the best for this planet and the best for each other. And so this week, wax your surfboard with acceptance. Wax your surfboard with humor. Wax your surfboard with the understanding that you don't need to understand and describe all of this. That you can just let it pass by. That you can let it go. That you can let it be what it is and observe it as it goes by. Like in meditation, when they're saying, your thoughts are going to come up. Just let them keep going. Don't grasp onto them. Don't dig into the thoughts and try to push them away or try to understand them. Just let them keep going, because it's really not about you. And so rather than letting your human monkey mind, good job, buddy, letting your human monkey mind dive in and start taking apart and analyzing and dissecting all the emotions and the feeling, just breathe. Know that there's a whole planet of feeling. Know that there are millions and millions of experiences of slavery and hierarchy and domination which are healing and leaving us. Know that every time you choose not to react in a hateful way, every time you choose acceptance, every time you choose tolerance, every time you choose humor and compassion, that you are lifting the veil, you are healing this planet, and we are healing each other. And know this, that we might all have moments, I don't know, I'm actually not perfect. I know some people that seem awfully perfect, but they tell me they aren't, and I believe them, because they seem to know what they're talking about. And so, you don't have to do perfectly. You're going to feel things. Things are going to come up. If you think of it too, the solar flares, the Schumann resonance, these solar flares are not just strong solar emanations. They're also occurring at new EMF frequencies that are higher vibration than we usually experience. And this is fantastic. So we're getting higher and higher vibrational food from the central sun of the universe, which breathes through our sun, right? And we can fill ourselves with that. So open the top of your head, open your heart, be present, let the information come to you, let the light feed you and nourish you on all of your levels, right? Let it come in and let it take the place of everything that you're letting go of. All the old emotions that come up, and we release them and we allow them to keep moving on. And we make room in ourselves for the new information. We don't have to know yet what we're doing. I don't know what how I'm going to figure out to deal with this tomorrow, because tomorrow I will have new information. I will have new tools and I will have new challenges. And tomorrow will equip me for the challenges of tomorrow. Today, I'm facing the challenges of today. And the challenge of today is just to let all that shit go. Just let it all go. I'm feeling a lot of things. I'm thinking a lot of things. And I'm going to let them all go. Because I need room. I need room for my new thoughts. I need room for my new feelings. I bless the past and I thank it. I don't need to understand it. I certainly don't need to justify it. What I do need is to embrace a future where I learn from my past mistakes and from all of our cultural history and past mistakes. And we choose to create a new future, because this is really exciting. The potential here is unbelievable. Have you seen what those amazing computers are printing for us now? We can print housing on site. We can make a house in a day with some of these printers that are made now. We can print solar panels. You can print solar panels from your printer. It's incredible what we can do and the tools we have. So now let's just keep choosing. I choose to be in the universe and the branch of the multiverse in which we heal the planet, in which we heal each other, in which we take and make amazing care of each other. And what is it? Judith Halverson said yesterday, she said, so blessings, I'm misphrasing now, but blessings are the default setting. Blessings are the neutral ground. The 0 point is the realm of blessings and positivity. I love that. Right? And that feels so true. Things have changed. Our vibrational baseline has risen on this planet leaps and bounds in this last year. And we know we've been watching it change over the last decades, but we keep having these huge leaps and shifts now. And I'm quite certain that so keep going. Stay solid on your board. If you fall off your board for a minute, you just breathe, gather yourself, and you get back on. We wax our boards with self-acceptance. We wax our boards with tolerance. We wax our boards with bad jokes and humor. And whatever it takes to get you through. Stay safe, stay loving, stay positive, and stay accepting of yourself. This is Laurien Rowan for Surfing Vuzuvaya. I'll look forward to seeing you all again. Thank you.